Good morning. Lovely to see you. It seems extraordinary now. We're sitting here listening to that incredible story that he's the last surviving Dambuster.
Dambuster, yes.
That he wouldn't have been given this honour when it was initially suggested in the year.
No, I mean, we all find it remarkable, and the petition has gone up by 25,000 overnight, because I think more people are aware of it, and please do sign, just change.org and Dambuster, and so we want more and more and more, and to sign. And yet, I mean, I've known Johnny, I met him last year. He was doing yet more work with Air Cadets and yet more work raising money for charity. And he's 95 tonight. He's giving a speech to raise money for charity. So obviously he is our last surviving Dambuster, but also he's done all of this tremendous work with people with mental health issues, with children, since the war.
So if the Dambuster wasn't enough,
if it wasn't enough, it's everything that he's done since. But the Dambuster raid, there were 133 aircrew who went out. I just want to give you some sort of significance for the losses in Bomber Command, and the 617 Squadron was a part of that. And 133 aircrew went out on that single night. Only 77 returned. The rest died. And of those 77 who returned, only 45 survived the war, because those who were members of Bomber Command suffered the highest losses of any military unit in the Second World War. And there were 55,573 souls died in Bomber Command, and they were the bravest of the brave, and yet they were snubbed after the war. And I wonder whether this nomination, not the one we're giving in today, but the one that was given in previously, was a snub to that, because they have been continually snubbed since the end of the war.
Feels a bit more political.
It has been political because of the bombings on certain cities towards the end of the war, and it was then I was actively involved in the fundraising and the building of the Bomber Command Memorial, which was unveiled in 2012. All of those years later, and it was the most amazing day, and the Queen unveiled it. And yet a lot of campaigns, and rightly so, for army, possibly in North Africa and so on, have campaign medals. And still today, those who fought in Bomber Command, in spite of losing more than any other military unit, have not got a medal. They were given a clasp 3 years ago. And many of the veterans and their families either haven't ordered them, they're so insulted by it. Johnny, I know, hasn't taken his out of the box. So, you know, this is part of all of that. I think it's touched a nerve with people. Also, you know, this campaign's only been running for 3 weeks, and those young people who don't know the history. I mean, I'm old enough, you know, I'm 56, so I was taught about World War II history when I was growing up. They find it fascinating. And Johnny is amazing. You would absolutely fall in love with him. I mean, I'm telling you now, absolutely.
And as he said, he wouldn't take the honour for himself. It would be for all of his fellow sort of.
He would accept it, because again, it's about the fact that those in Bomber Command were snubbed for all of those decades. That anything that is awarded to somebody from Bomber Command, or particularly obviously 617 Squadron, is considered an honour for all of them.
Quite right too. Yeah. And do you think that there was a mistake in almost blaming the individual who took up that bravery and went out and did that message for perhaps decisions that after the war we feel uncomfortable about?
Yes, I think so. You know, these were very young men. So the Dambusters raid, Johnny, I think, was 22. A lot of all of those were who took part were in Bomber Command were volunteers from the Royal Air Force, and they were generally aged 18 to about 23, 24.
Gosh,
they were taking orders, whatever your politics may or may not be. They were young men who were doing their best for the country, and they took the war to Hitler and unquestionably changed the pattern of the war.
So the government have said that they don't comment on nominations. Anyone can nominate anybody for an honour.
Rightly so.
And so we don't know why Johnny was snubbed initially in New Year, but the petition you're taking is still open if people would like to sign it, isn't it?
Yes. That's change.org, and then just type in, search on Dambuster,
and you'll be able to do that.
Up.
And what time are you going?
We're going at 12 noon.
There you go. So you've got till 12 o'clock to sign
Come on.
Yes,
we need to try
and we want him to get this honour this year. He is 95.
It's a lovely tribute.
He really deserves it, doesn't he?
Let's
do it now.